It's been a year since President Biden was sworn into office. I remember his inaugural address well and agreed with much of it. President Biden made an impassioned plea for more bipartisanship and civility. He said, "My whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people and uniting our nation. I ask every American to join me in this cause." Unfortunately, President Biden never joined in his own cause. Instead of starting off by reaching out and seeking common ground, President Biden started his presidency by pushing a completely partisan $2 trillion spending package. And now we've seen the consequences. Out-of-control spending and misplaced priorities by Democrats have made everything worse. We have the highest inflation in 40 years. Gas prices are through the roof. Shelves in grocery stores are bare. And now President Biden and his Democratic allies want to spend trillions of dollars on more left-wing social policies that will harm our economy and working families even more. And as we take a look across the globe, we see our adversaries emboldened and our allies on alert. President Biden has refused to take a hardline position against Putin, even recently opposing a common-sense bipartisan effort to slap sanctions on Putin's regime. We now see more than 100,000 troops amassed on the border with Ukraine, with the Russian army prepared to invade our democratic partner. When we look across the Pacific, we see the Chinese Communist Party flexing its might. There's been no accountability for sparking a global pandemic, no accountability for their egregious human rights abuses, no accountability for their threats to violate the sovereignty of a free and democratic Taiwan. America's global standing has been severely weakened by the Biden administration's disastrous withdrawal of Afghanistan. Biden claimed the pullout of troops wouldn't be a repeat of Saigon. He was right. It's far worse. Poor planning caused thousands of Americans and our Afghan allies to be left stranded. Many of our stranded Afghan allies have since been murdered by the Taliban. Whether at home or abroad, I do not believe America is better off than it was a year ago. But it doesn't need to be that way. My advice for President Biden is simple. Reread your inaugural address and start living up to the promises you made to the American people. Stop listening to the most fringe elements of your base and the most partisan voices in the West Wing. Instead of pursuing the far left's agenda, start pursuing the agenda of the American people. That begins with working across the aisle in good faith. We can work together to get inflation under control. We can work together to stop the crisis at the southern border. We can work together to hold Russia and China accountable. But that can only start with leadership from President Biden. I sincerely hope he lives up to his promises and begins to provide the country with the bipartisan leadership we desperately need.